is Two Queers and a Truck. And I'm Billy James Gunn, and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner with Gunn, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Two Queers in a Truck time. Wednesday, April 23rd.
Wow.
Which also means this is a bonus month.
Yeah,
I won't do it yet.
That's right. Do it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do it. We got guns that look like knives and guns that look like guns. Sunday. You get a free bonus episode. No extra.
That's right.
A fifth Wednesday show, and a short month too, and a 30-day month. But y'all look out to a yard sale near you. There'll be tapes of this show on racks and flea markets and yard sales near y'all, or you can just listen to it free on your favorite audio podcast platform or Facebook. But anyway, we do have a 5-episode month coming up, which is exciting and rare. I love the 5 Wednesdays. We started doing that as a joke a long time ago on our sister show, Coffee and Pendleton.
Yeah.
We got a lot of new shows.
Yeah.
Probably going to drop a commercial on this episode or one of the other episodes that'll tell more about Canis Media shows when we hit a commercial break. And I appreciate y'all as always listening to this show and all of our other shows. And those shows started off, Coffee and Pendleton. So we're going to jump right into it. But I thought I'd do a little shameless plug because I have no shame. And if I set a bar, I slide under it every single week because that's what we do around here on our bootleg shows. And we have a little fun with it. And as always, my wingman and my bestie and producer who keeps me on track, keeps track of the shows, edits it, makes me look pretty. Christian, we just, it's already April 23rd. Pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
And the genius is on, I was going to jump right into the first topic. Fox defends Trump tariffs by saying they'll make Americans into real men.
So I saw that, Jenny.
Jesse Waters, he's a super genius. He does have good hair. I will say this. He's a pretty good looking guy. Dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, just dumb as fuck. It has a propensity to say stupid stuff like nobody's business. It's
an interesting theory
for MAGA men.
Yeah.
I mean, interesting. Wait, you identify as a male. I wonder, are you excited about the tariffs turning you into a real man? It's going to give you your manhood back because of tariffs. You're going to pay more for goods and services.
Yeah.
How exciting is that for you? Is that going to be like a testosterone boost for you?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to go smash beer cans on your forehead, go shoot something.
I'm going to want to go pee outside.
Watch out, Christian is peeing outside again.
That's right.
Only on Tequila Tuesdays, though. It's going to be a full moon. I mean, they clearly don't listen to themselves. And I don't know if he has a co-host. I don't watch Fox News. Like, I don't drink toilet. It's the same thing. I don't eat out of dumpsters either for the same reason. But my God, how does the tariffs have anything to do with a crisis in masculinity. Remember, we had the other Trumper, the what's his face that made that fake commercial for, it ended up being really, it looked like a gay male adult film is what it looked like.
Oh yeah. Well, that wasn't Matt
Tucker.
Gates, was it?
No, it was
Oh
Tucker.
yeah, Carson Tucker. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
When he had the dawn of the real men chopping wood and sweating and pumping iron, pumping each other. It looked like an old, because gay bars used to have these things called video bars where basically it was just men being men and shirtless and sweaty and buff.
Yeah.
Kind of high. I don't say Tucker Carlson's gay male soft porn that they made.
Yeah.
They had attractive men on it. Like, it was good looking video. It was very well done. Very tastefully done. Bravo, Fox. At least they got into business they know something about. Gay porn. But they are all obsessed with men being hyper masculine. Which, that must be Jesse Waters' type. He must like a man's man. Mm-hmm. He really wants to hang out with men's men.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, the guys who were really into really masculine men typically were gay.
Exactly.
Really were into men, because if you were straight, you'd be more worried about women staying feminine if you were attracted.
Exactly.
So he's either got a really butch wife. I don't know if Jesse Waters is even married, or he's down low. One of those.
Yeah,
got a little sugar in the tank. I think he's got a lot of sugar in the tank. Allegedly. He looks like he could be into like a bear. I don't think he'd be into little twinks either. I don't think he'd be into a 25-year-old twink. I think he'd like a Harley riding, leather daddy, Sturgis gay man, named Earl.
His ad would say, "Masculine men only."
Yeah. On Grindr, he would have no picture.
Exactly.
And he would have masculine men only, prefer bears, no femmes, no bottoms. Must ride a Harley, must like Marlboros, no menthols, unfiltered, because only real men smoke unfiltered cigarettes, and must drink a domestic beer only with no rainbows.
And under his profile, he's a submissive bottom.
Oh, he loves the sound of music, long and candlelit dinners at Italian restaurants.
Yes, that's right.
Because he's bougie. He's a bougie princess.
That's right.
Can you imagine other moronic Republicans in the news? Nancy Mace, our friend from South Carolina, that one day wants to become governor of South Carolina. That's an accomplishment. Honestly, being a governor of South Carolina would be like being the smartest kid on the short bus. It's just is South Carolina even really a state, or is it just a suburb of North Carolina?
It's a suburb of North Carolina.
I mean, it shouldn't even be a state. It should be like a territory. Or we should just incorporate it in North Carolina. Other than we would have to subsidize the entire state because it's a broadcast state.
Exactly.
I just drove through it over this weekend to go to Charleston. Yeah. The city of Charleston was a lovely city. There was not a part of the highway that wasn't under construction all the way there.
Yeah.
Going and coming back, we took two different routes. I don't want to tell you what, the state is under construction at all times. And the city. And it's unimpressive. But Nancy Mace berated evil Americans for calling her office to express anger over her refusal to face constituents at a town hall. So she, I guess, didn't show up to it. Your BS calls are taken away from people who really have real needs in our community, from housing to the VA to job issues, you name it. Not one person has any issue with a federal agency that we can assist them with. Which is bizarre because they're typical of Republicans. They were always saying how broke the federal government is on one side.
Yeah.
You got Sissy SpaceX saying every federal thing except for the Defense Department is broken and there's tons of fraud.
Yeah.
And Nancy Mason is saying there's tons of needs for well-run federal programs that she oversees personally. Like she's running a little cash register for the federal government and handing out all these benefits that are well-funded and well-run. So I'm wondering which is it. Which is it? And it's bizarre how they contradict each other. It's bizarre how they get in front of Iowa farmers and talk about the subsidies and help they're going to give them. That farm welfare. You know, the biggest welfare queens in this country are MAGA business people and farmers. Biggest queens. There is nobody in the city that receives as many benefits as a farmer does. The federal government pays farmers not to grow crops. It's called the CRP program, where you can put a percentage of your fields into the CRP program. And the CRP stands for crop rotation program. And they pay you not to grow, to conserve soil. It's a soil conservation. And it's a great program. I'm not making fun of it. I'm not making fun of the role that the ag subsidies don't provide for our farmers and dairy farmers here in the Americas. I'm going to continue with this right after this break. And we'll have a break for 2 Queers in the Truck, and we'll have more right after this message. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the 2 Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo. Happy time. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching the 2 Queers in the Truck Show 2025 edition. We have a new special show that is coming on as part of the Canis Media family of shows, and it's the Tony Foreman Show. And they're going to talk about a little bit different things than we typically talk about on the coffee show or the queer show that we often reference. And it's going to be a little bit more of a serious show, a little bit more talking about very specific issues amongst Latin, Latino men and Hispanic men. Tony Foreman is Afro-Latino. And then I'm assuming that Christian's going to be on the show as well, which is a Latino male, a Tejano. And they're going to talk about things that are probably important to their generations, to what's going on in pop culture and where they fit in the world. And I guess that's always the existential question. Why am I here? But anyway, if you want to know why you're here and whether you fit in that demographic or not, it should be interesting. I know Tony and Christian will keep it light and funny, and probably a little bit of silliness in there too, to boot. Well, I'm looking forward to listening to it myself and not having to actually produce a show all the time. But please tune in at 10 o'clock on Wednesday mornings when that show drops, and enjoy more shows from the Canis Media family in 2025. Thank y'all. Normally we talk about the welfare king queens on the Coffee and Pendelsa show. But I was thinking about this as I saw the different farms as we were driving to and back from Charleston, South Carolina for the weekend with my beautiful wife. And I was curious because I talked about it, and she didn't know a ton about ag, but I was telling I grew up in Texas, and I knew a lot of farmers and did business with a lot of farmers. And I was with somebody that, had family that was in farm and ranching, and I had family members that were in farm and ranching. And my dad owned 120 acres. My parents owned 120 acres in North Texas. It was an income property with farmers. And So I'm knowledgeable to a certain point. I understand the business of the agricultural industry as a whole in certain industries, like cotton, for example. And there's tons of federal subsidies. There's all kinds of federal subsidies. There is not a dairy farmer in America that does not receive federal subsidies to stay open. The dairy farming in America for cow's milk and dairy products is 100% unsustainable. There's no dairy farm that doesn't receive this federal subsidy. They're all welfare. In fact, most dairy farms are now owned and run by foreigners where they bring in foreign nationals from other countries to run these dairy farms. MAGA did that. It was Republicans that came up with that idea. Almost no small dairy farms in the United States are owned by Americans. They're foreign residents that they brought here to specifically do this. A lot of people don't know that. Go up to Wisconsin and some of the dairy states sometimes, and you'll be shocked what goes on. How open they are. And these same assholes vote Republican and get their programs or they get their products banned because, like, soy farmers almost all went out of business in the United States or really struggled for several years as China stopped buying soybeans for all the soy usage they have in their country. It's a big staple in the Chinese diet is the use of the soybean. And they bought it from Russia instead, our enemy. Why? Because we screwed them over in 2017 and 2018. They said, you know what? We're going to buy from our other neighbor. We don't like them either, but they're not screwing us. They're not screwing us out of an important American market. And by the way, the reason why we get cheap goods from China is because the federal government in China subsidizes their labor. They have a thing that's called socialism, social programs where they take care of their people. So that we can buy t-shirts and iPhones at ridiculously low prices. If all iPhones, for example, were 100% manufactured in the United States, one, they could only manufacture 1 or 2 million of them versus tens of millions. The second, an iPhone would cost about $25,000 if it was manufactured 100% in the United States. Like all the parts, all the labor, everything to do with an iPhone was 100% American source. An iPhone would be between $25,000 and $30,000 instead of $1,000. It would be 25 times higher now. Y'all, we can buy a pretty decent car for 25 grand even still today. Serious. You can buy a brand new Kia Soul for that. Nice car. Or a nice used sport utility for 25 grand. That's what our iPhones would be if we banish all imports. We don't have enough labor to build all the products we use. We are the #1 consuming country on the planet. There is not a close second. We consume 25% of the world's resources, yet we're only 5% of the population, guys. Where do you think we get all our products from? Who do you think makes your stuff? When it's said on the bottom of the box, made in China, made in Taiwan, or made somewhere else. Well, what do you think that actually means? So when we're banning things or making it so expensive that importers stop sending us stuff, or exporters stop sending us stuff, when we stop importing because we can't sell it, because it doubled or tripled overnight. And companies, American companies that were going to import it say, we just can't do that. See, it's called supply and demand, y'all. And it works like this. If products become more scarce, just like the supply chain fiasco of COVID, there was a manufactured deal where people just held things up at customs in warehouses and artificially ran up the prices, which corporations made billions and trillions of dollars off. That manufactured crisis, which started inflation, by the way. It's jump-started high inflation because of that shit. as goods set 3 to 6 weeks until Biden started finding them every day that they held up goods. And then all of a sudden goods released, but they didn't go back and roll back the prices. Anyway, when products are hard to get, do prices go up or do they go down? The answer is they go up in price. Because people panic and they panic buy and they don't care what it costs. For the people that have enough superfluous income, extra income, so to speak, especially households that make 6 figures or higher. Because people that have money are not going to stop eating. They're not going to stop buying things. They may buy a little bit less, but they're going to spend money to live. They're not going to go, oh my God, I'm just going to crawl into a cave and die. You don't get to a good high income level by crawling in and dying somewhere. You make it up somewhere else. You make sure that you eat, even if other people don't eat. You make less contributions and donations. You cut back on the Netflix subscriptions. You may go on less trips, but then that costs other jobs. Because now people in the tourism industry, for example, are the first ones hit because that's what they call discretionary spending. People who work at movie theaters see less people, so theater owners have to cut back on how many people they staff.
They donate less to the church.
Correct. Church donations do go way down, but incidentally enough, Red Cross, so on and so forth, donations drop, discretionary spending drops, luxury items lessen somewhat, trips to the spa, things like that. Because then they also will end up buying cheaper alternative products. They will start sourcing products from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then in some cases, just do without. They just won't spend it. So all these products cost jobs. If you have a 20% less sales, you're not going to keep the same staff. If the company that I co-own and run, if our sales drop 20%, I'm going to schedule 20% less labor because I don't need to service as many customers, for example. If we have a huge slowdown, it's just easier to run a store with less people if you have less customers coming through. So somebody gets less hours, or I give them the week off, or I just don't schedule them. And then if there's underperforming employees that are at the lower end of the totem pole, I just schedule them out indefinitely. And so those people didn't get paid, and I keep my core people. And that's how every company runs, whether it's a furlough, a layoff, less hours, downsizing, whatever you want to call it. Whether you have 30 employees or you have 30,000 employees, you're going to lay people off. Banks have less deposits and less demand. They need less tellers. So all those Bank of America employees, they'll lay a few thousand off them. They need less office people, so on and so forth. They need less offices to clean, so the cleaning crew gets cut. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Less demand, higher prices. Those things affect who gets what job based on seniority, nepotism, the whole nine yards. Somebody loses, and it's typically not a billionaire. Even if they lose money, it's mostly on paper. Their living expenses are still been met the first day of the year. If you make $10 billion a day, like a Jeff Bezos, for example, that makes $8 to $10 billion a day in gross revenue. Not profit, but gross revenue. I'm pretty sure he's not starving. I'm pretty sure he's not scrounging through a change drawer trying to find enough to buy $1 cheeseburger from McDonald's or whatever they are. Probably not happening. Probably no big deal. Jeff's probably doing all right. I'm not sending a check to Jeff anytime soon. So he can pay for more fuel in one of his penis-shaped rockets. We're up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers and a Truck after this message. Hey y'all, thanks for listening to Two Queers and a Truck, and we do broadcast on YouTube, and Facebook and a video version. And we're also on all the audio platforms out there. So your favorite way to listen to your podcast. We've been doing this for a couple years, and we appreciate y'all listening. We know you have a ton of choices, even though we may be the best choice. We always appreciate our listeners, and we'll try to bring you quality in the future. Thanks for listening. As always, Christian and Jenny, we're out. Thank y'all. Hey y'all, this is Jenny with Two Queers in a Truck, and Christian's along with me. And we're just having fun, and we're looking forward to the 2025 season, and super excited. We have some neat things going on in our whole family of shows, including Coffee and Pan Dulce, and many new shows that are brewing. Get it, and we are excited for 2025 and all the chicanery and other things that comes with it. So happy New Year, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Bye, boo.
Bye, boo. But I find it really interesting when people don't do even the simplest math. Like, it's not hard. The math that's required to understand tariffs, we all learned or should have learned in the first 3 or 4 grades at least. The t-shirt's $5. The tariffs make it $10. A retailer in America is still not going to sell it for $10 anymore. They're going to sell it for $15 or more.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to work for free. Nobody's going to work for free. They can't keep the doors open working for free. I cannot buy the raw products for the coffee business and sell it for what I paid and pay the labor to produce it. It doesn't work that way. We got to make a margin to cover the labor and hopefully a tiny little profit at the end of the month so we can pay ourselves. Because that's my job, and that's my business partner's job, is to make sure we have a little bit of money left at every end of every month to pay ourselves, to justify why we did all this work and managing all these people and managing all the store's resources. Like any other job, no matter whether you're an owner, a manager, an employee, whatever, your job is to do what you're supposed to do. But one thing they didn't have to teach me is that if I buy it for $5 and now it goes to $10, I can't continue to sell for $10. My prices have to go up. Our prices, as the many small companies and large companies, they're going to go up in the month of April. We will have price hikes. We have to. A lot of the green beans we buy that we roast for our coffee are all going to go up at least 25% or more in the next few weeks. We've already gotten the notices. So guess what? All of our prices will go up 25 to 50% more because they have to for us to stay in business and feed our, pay our employees. Which in turn means, a $3 cup of coffee is now going to be $4 or $4.50. Which in turn, our customers, will also have to pay more for their product if they still want their caffeine fix every single day. If I have to pay more for avocados, avocado toast in our store will be more expensive. We have to pass on that cost. And avocados are typically imported in. Some come from California and a few other states, but for the most part, they come from Mexico and other countries, especially in the winter. A lot of our produce comes from Central America and South America and warmer places when we have an American winter, unless we do indoor farming, which is still not widely adopted. So we have to import our fruits and veg for the most part, and other things, and coffee beans, for example, which don't grow in the United States typically. So they have to come from Brazil and Mexico and Costa Rica, and mostly Latin American countries, and some African countries, like Ethiopia. But every one of those countries that gets a tariff means every one of those coffees will have to have a price increase. Because the importers and exporters are going to charge us more. By the time that we get those green beans, they're going to cost more. It's called financial suicide. It's literally cutting off your nose to spite your face. It is also called a bad decision. And I relate this to people because last year they were talking about the economy so much and how Biden supposedly botched the economy. We're about to find out how bad the economy is going to get mangled when everything goes up to 25 to 100% over the next few months. In these big companies, you don't think they're not going to profiteer off it? You don't think a Walmart isn't going to put the screws to you? Whether it's imported or not, it can come from a completely American manufacturing place. But I guarantee you, the Walton family are not going to even think about losing money. You aren't worth hundreds of billions of dollars as a family, the largest retailer on earth in brick and mortar stores. Walmart, in no way, shape, or form, is going to lose money. Neither is Amazon or any other company that is greatly dependent on imports.
Mm-hmm.
The percentage of those two companies alone are dependent on, if you took away all the foreign-made products between Amazon and Walmart, I would imagine you'd only have about 10 or 20% of the product line that comes actually from Americans and sourced completely in America. I'm not sure it's even 10%. It may not even be 10. It may be more like 5. I struggle to think of how many things I've seen in a Walmart or a Target or on Amazon that actually were completely made and sourced in the United States. Even stuff made in the USA, you can claim it's made in the US because it's assembled in the US.
Yeah.
But every one of the parts can come from another country, and you still claim it's made in the US because it gets assembled in Ohio. Ford does that all the time, where they'll assemble it in Detroit, but 95% of the parts on that Ford Taurus came from another country. But the origin of assembly does not mean it was made there. If 95% of the parts came from foreign countries, it's an import. But the loophole in the law is that if it's assembled in the United States and a few other little things, then you have a corporate presence. In the auto industry, you can claim it is made in the United States and not get in trouble with the FTC. And put on the Moroni sticker, or what they call the window sticker. Made in the USA. Assembled at Detroit, Michigan. Well, we all know that 95% of those parts for that domestic company were bought and sourced from foreign countries. Brazilian steel, injected molded plastic parts from Mexico, electronics from China, so on and so forth. There's cheaper labor over there. It's a fraction of American labor. That's why you can buy full outfits on Shein, a Chinese import company that has an app that I buy clothes from. I can buy dresses for $8 or $9 that if I went into Target, I would spend $35 on or $40 on, or more. And they're the same flipping thing. But that American markup and those American jobs don't matter if I can't afford it or I want to stay in budget on clothes. I'm going to buy some of my stuff off Amazon, Shein, Walmart, eBay, all these online stores because they can ship it direct to my house. I don't even have to leave my house to order shit. Little Amazon truck pulls up, drops it off on your porch, honks on the way out. Or UPS drops off that stuff from Shein. Shit, I can get that stuff in 3 to 7 days. I can get it just as quick as if I bought it from an online presence in LA. Usually takes 3 to 7 days. I've literally bought custom made fashion wear from Los Angeles, and it'd take up to 7 or 8 days to get here through a USPS ground or UPS. And that was after the pandemic was bad. During the pandemic, it took 3 or 4 weeks, even in the United States, because of all the protocols, which, I'm fine with that. There wasn't no COVID with my stuff. But dang, guys, careful what you wish for. You want to stick it to the foreigners by sticking it to ourselves. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is not so much that I want to talk about politics, but I want to talk about reality. We got to start being grounded in reality. This whole idea that this doesn't affect us and that the economy is most important. Well, if the economy is more important, why did you volunteer to raise prices on things? He promised tariffs. He said he was going to stick it to all these foreign countries on our behalf, and he has. He has kept that campaign promise. Bravo. It's one of the few he's kept in either one of his terms. Because he did it in the first term, too. And it was a disaster for many people. Hundreds of thousands of jobs were lost the last time he stuck it to China. Y'all, wake up and smell the manure that y'all are wading into. And we've run through all the segments, but I kind of want to just talk to y'all directly just a little bit. If it sounds like it's raining, but they're actually pissing on your back, they're just pissing on your back and telling you it's raining. Anytime a politician, I don't care who they are, Democrat or Republican, is telling you they're going to stick it to somebody else on your behalf, and you're going to drive up their costs. What they're really saying is they're going to help out the billionaires and billionaires that help fund their campaigns, that have them in pocket, and they want less competition. And lower competition in basic high school economics 101, less competition means higher prices, which is not the American way. We believe in competition and fair play. But there's nothing fair about raising costs and sticking it to the competition in an unfair situation. You either pick a struggle. You either want the less expensive goods that are assembled with cheaper labor in foreign countries, or jobs that people don't want to do here because they'd rather be a video game tester or an influencer. How many people do you think in the second grade right now, little white suburban kids, wake up every morning and say, I really want to work in a chicken factory? I want to make sure chicken makes it to every household in America, and it's my dream is to pluck chickens and clean up chicken poop. It's my dream job. Not astronauts anymore, not doctors, not star athletes. I want to work in a chicken processing plant. That is my dream. It's always been my dream. Something about feathers flying around everywhere and smelling chicken poop in the morning is so flipping exciting. I love chickens. I love everything about chickens. I don't remember it. And I was in the second grade a long time ago. Many moons ago. No. We either bring in labor that does that from mostly Latin American countries, or we import stuff like that. Because we don't want to do those jobs. We don't want to work in a clothes factory sewing our own clothes or our neighbor's clothes. How many friends of yours make a pair of jeans or work in a clothes manufacturing plant of any kind? I bet you everybody listening to this right now does not know one person that works in a true manufacturing plant for clothes. They may know some kind of custom tailor or makes $10,000 wedding gowns or something. But I'm talking about a regular, they're making Levi's, they're making cheap overalls for Target, they're making socks, they're making underwear, they're making basic Nike shoes, Tell me one person you know. Go on our social media and tell us who you know and name them in the social media post on Two Queers in a Truck on Facebook. I encourage y'all. I'm asking for an action step for the last segment, this bonus segment. Love for y'all to go to our social media post and name somebody you personally know and tag them in the post that they work in a true clothing manufacturing deal. And if you do know, which manufacturing plant is in the United States? Inquiring minds want to know. I'd love to hear that. Please reach out to us. Love to hear from you on all of us. That's it for this week. Y'all be safe. Enjoy this beautiful day in April if you're listening to this on the day that it drops. And we'll see you next week. Bye, boo. Thanks, y'all.
Bye, boo.
Hey, I appreciate y'all listening to Two Queers in a Truck. And we're rocking our April out. We're into the middle and heart of spring and pollen season for some of us. So we appreciate y'all. Be safe out there. Enjoy the upcoming festivities, the spring things. Mother's Day is coming up pretty soon. For all you moms and people that are nurturers out there, we'll be talking about you soon. And my wife is writing a beautiful article, and I'm not going to say who yet. She has been contracted to do this. She is a professional writer. And hopefully I'm going to have her on the show pretty soon to be able to talk about that and let the cat out of the bag and who she's writing it for. And she's in the midst of writing this, actually probably today, right now, as we're recording this. And it's going to be really cool. I'm very proud of her. I love her always. But as always, I appreciate you listening. And I appreciate you being with us. And I'll see you next week. Bye, boo. See y'all.
Bye, boo.